Marino.
Lunch God. Cold coffee. Yeah.
Slam down like Jamtown, we don't pop shots at sundown. I ride around, we stay grinning, they really mad just cause you winning,
What?
But tell me why the fuck are you so extra, Tell me why the fuck are you so extra?
Welcome to another episode of the RLP Road Glam. I have 3 guests. One of them is OG, my brother, my big brother Paul.
Yo,
what's up?
it's been a minute.
It's been a minute, but he back. And I got 2 lovely women here today. I'm gonna let y'all introduce yourself. But first, let me give compliments. I want to compliment you. How you say your name? What's your Facebook name? I'm confused.
It's Key. That's my name, my nickname. That's my alias. That's what people know me as.
Be an alias here, okay?
Yeah.
I'm gonna compliment you, Key, on you're professional in the inbox, real professional. And I was like, let me bring her on because that's the most professionally written. Like, that was a good ask.
Thought you was reading a resume.
Yeah, low key, it was resume like format. I was like, that was dope. I mean, I'm not that important or serious, but I mean, thank you for treating it like that. I appreciate that. That was dope. So I'm gonna let y'all introduce yourself. Whoever want to go first.
Well, yeah, I'm Key, and I reached out to you, and I brought my friend with me, so I guess she can introduce.
Hey, I'm Meisha, just a friend.
She a little shy. She probably loosening up.
She's not the side piece. She's just a friend.
Yes, exactly.
she'll probably loosen up. So anything like you want to jump into it?
Sure.
We can just jump into it then. Let's just jump into it.
I'm happy to be back as hell. So
yeah. Sorry. Where have you? What's been going on with you, dog? I'm happy to see you back.
I be lurking, man. You know I disappear.
Dog, let people know it's no bad blood, man. Please.
Y'all stupid as fuck, dumbasses. Sorry.
Oh,
this is the podcast.
It's probably bad blood now.
But no. Well, no, fuck them. Like, how you go? This is not no damn keeping up with the Kardashians. Like, they wish we would fight. It'd be funny as hell, but it ain't happening. No, I go off. I disappear.
Yeah.
I just be lurking sometimes, and then I guess 2018. You like to hunker down and just work until you get like some overtime pay, and then you come out.
Yeah,
that's really what it is in reality. I had to get an overtime check.
Yeah, you're like a surprise though when you pop up. I think people are gonna like when you just splash in.
Well, I mean, just because I'm trying to make sure I don't be out here looking like a jackass and putting out like piss content. Because we've been talking about a lot of stuff. I dip off and I turn my phone off. I ignore a lot of people because I got kids. Child support got me on ropes.
All right.
No, it ain't that deep.
All right,
it
man.
really ain't that deep. I just be chilling, man. I dip off, but I'm happy to be back. It's really exciting.
Good to have you back, bro.
It ain't no fucking bad blood. That's the stupidest shit.
Key, you were telling me. First off, we never met, right?
Right.
It's our first time meeting. It's meeting you and Meisha. It's my first time meeting y'all, right? I gotta ask you. This is gonna help me judge your moral character real quick. So, I mean, if you haven't, I'm not gonna trip either way. Mm-hmm. Have you heard any of my other podcasts? If you
yes.
You have?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you heard the one with Kim and them? Like,
yes, I did.
They're all pretty different, right?
Did you hear when the name changed? Were you there for that?
Nah, shit, I don't think you were
okay.
No, I really just came upon it probably like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I heard it, and I've done podcasting in the past, I've done radio, and it just seemed very organic.
Wow.
And so I was thinking about, I had been thinking about picking it back up again because I've done it with people in the past. I kind of been behind the scenes a lot of times. And so with just my unconventional lifestyle and as people have come across it, they've asked me like if I'm open to doing like documentaries and stuff like that. And I'm just like, I don't think I'm ready yet for anything like that. But I mean, to talk about it, people are usually surprised and have just their own assumptions, their own preconceived notions about what it looks like. And so I was just like, I think, I felt like if I could talk about it anywhere, whatever.
No, for sure. I like that.
That's dope. Meisha, do you do podcasts? You don't do podcasts, right? Oh, so you on a whole nother lane than the one she on. Like you're not into all the. What do you?
I mean, I'm into it. It's interesting to me. I just not like.
So would you say you're like the friend of, say, like you have your friends that be getting into stuff and they just kind of expose you to some stuff that's like, oh, so that's what that's like. Like you kind of along for the ride, see what it's like because it's not really your. You don't be doing this often, and so when you step out of your bubble every so often with your friends, that's dope. That's dope. That's really cool. Do you have like a lot of diverse friends like that, or is it just?
No, I'm the crazy friend. I get my friends in so much stuff. So let me put that
kind of like not the follower, but
you're the one that they can call like, hey, I want to go do something crazy. Will you support me? You'll be like, yeah, I'll go support you. That's no, people need that.
That's dope.
That's solid.
You,
that's really
ride
dope.
or die. That's what it is.
That's
pretty
really
much. Good or bad.
So key situation. I think I read it right. I think I reread it. So you said you're in an open relationship with your baby daddy or boyfriend.
Yes. So same. Not same thing, but we've been together. We have children together.
Mm-hmm.
He is my boyfriend. We live together. Have been for a long time. So we are in an open relationship.
So I'm not here to judge you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think my brother here is here to judge you. He's probably more understanding than anybody actually. But I don't know if I have an opinion. I think, but I gotta understand the situation more first.
You gotta ask the real question.
Yeah, I gotta understand what's going on first. Because honestly, when I first hear, I'm like, fuck.
Well, because
no.
the face.
But
I just made a whole
but
face.
to each his own. Yeah. When she sent it to me, I read it. I was like, what? Nah, what? Nah, hell no. Right. So how does that work? So cake and eat it too. It's one of those,
I don't know. For me, it works well. It seems to work well for him as well.
Of course.
It's looked different over time, but we've been together 6 years and we've probably been open for around 2 years.
Like knowingly open?
I'm sorry, we've been open 4 years.
Like knowing that like he might be somewhere else, you might be somewhere else.
Yeah,
Let's define open first. That's what we do.
I think you're right. Just in establishing that foundation, because I think a lot of times when I say we're in an open relationship, people are always automatically like, I could never share my man. I could never. And I have to hold back because I tend to be a very direct person. But in my mind, I'm thinking you probably already share him. And you just don't know.
Knowingly, you share him.
You're not even aware.
Exactly. But that's honestly me being defensive. But just in us being open, it means that we're always open to the conversation of what we need as a relationship. So it's in what we need in each other or in our lives at the time. For me, I've never really wanted to be married. So my parents are still married, have been for 28, 29 years, very long time.
That's amazing.
But I think sometimes when, how do you say it? I think when people get married, you automatically think that you have to become one. And no problems with nobody else, but hell, I've been one by my damn self for a long time.
That's just the traditional thought.
Right. It is a very traditional thought. And I think a lot of times you think you become one or, and especially if you have children, you have to make sacrifices. And I think it's almost automatically assumed that that woman has to be the one to take the sacrifices. And I honestly, I never wanted that to be me. Like growing up, all my friends were planning their weddings and I'm like, I want to get paid. I want to be a lawyer. I want to make money. I want to represent artists. I want to represent, like athletes. I want to travel the world. I want to eat expensive food. I want to, wear expensive clothes. I want to smoke expensive weed. I just want to be the favorite aunt, show up with the gifts. And that was my goal. So everybody else is seeing wedding dresses and I'm just seeing dollar signs. Like it was different, So with us being open, he is very, very traditional, like grew up in a church, And I just felt like he wanted to be married. And, he also knew how I felt about things. And so as we've been together, I'm now more so coming around to marriage. So I think if we were maybe, I don't know, if we're married, I don't think we'd be open anymore. We talked about that. I was like, I might need an occasional threesome. And I've only had threesomes with women, but I'm like, I would want an occasional,
That sounds healthy. That sounds like the most healthiest shit ever. I want occasional threesomes. I was like,
it sounds good, right? But I come from like, I'm not traditional at all. Like as far as like being religious, like the pastor's trying to make me do a lot of, stuff that he thought I should do as the man of the house on a religious tip, but that wasn't my wave. But I'm not traditional either. But threesome, I don't know. I think that's too untraditional. I don't want to say traditional anymore because I can't fuck with it.
Shit, I would.
And it's not even just me. It's not even really my ego. Well, it probably is more ego for me. That's why, like, when you say your dude is traditional, I feel like I want to meet him now. Like, But you said you only done threesomes with women.
Yeah.
So I mean that's probably easier. It ain't like it's two dudes and you. That'd be
No.
See. So his ego is involved in it. He wouldn't let you do two dudes, right? He would him and, like, a friend.
When I say I'm in an open relationship, like
not a friend.
I had a live-in partner, which was a guy for a year. So I don't think like we've had a conversation and he's asked me if I wanted to do that. It's just never really been something that I wanted to do.
I feel like he getting the better end of the whole situation though. As far as like he get to have two women to have sex with and you not be mad about it. I feel like you should test him and be like, hold on, let me bring in another dude, see where his head at.
I guess maybe you missed it because, like I said, for a whole year, I had another live-in partner who was a guy. Yeah, we all.
Oh, I did. I heard you say that. I heard you say that about like she couldn't mean.
No,
another dude in him, right?
No, and that's what I'm telling you.
I
about
did miss
Meisha,
that. I caught it. Right. I caught what you said, but I dropped it. I was like, nah, I couldn't have been it, right?
You dropped that
Well,
pass
shit,
in
let's
the
talk
drill.
about that. What?
Yeah.
So he was comfortable with you living with another man.
Well, I mean, he lived with us. Yeah.
Oh, so he came into
partner.
So in other words,
so as partner, you and the not your dude, but you and the dude usually. Y'all was.
We were what?
I don't know.
y'all were having sex?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What?
That's pretty dope. That sounds like a healthy. Well, because it sounds like a healthy version of something I went through, but like with some actual I don't know.
Nah,
how
totally
did that
different.
go? How did that
I know
go?
your situation. That's totally different.
No, I'm saying in the sense of like hers is like the clean version of where everyone's aware, versus the version of where people ain't saying nothing. And
I don't
it's
think
like,
there's a clean version.
Well,
I mean, not as far as like
Not a
hygiene,
clean-
but as
not
far
a
as like,
right-
as
not
far
a
as
right-
what's going
right.
on, it's just I think my mind is so like I can't grasp it. It probably makes sense to a lot of people, but
I understand.
I'm pretty hyped because usually you can only find people talking about this like not openly.
Right.
Like honestly for me,
you got all my respect.
well, yeah, no, because for me, I'm
All
like,
of it.
it's not enough. It's not even though it's like, yeah, there's plenty of white people talk about this.
Yeah.
I like to see the black perspective because some of us have the actual black people opinion
Yeah,
versus
and
like
that-
a whitewashed one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I guess
think you're
I was really
No,
nervous.
no.
I was really nervous to talk about it just because of how just the black community is.
Right,
But
exactly.
Oh, definitely. I feel
I
Yeah,
think
that's what I
that
mean,
for
yes.
people, they have an idea of it, and I think you can talk about it in hypotheticals, but it really worked. And like
Right.
that's why I was like, I brought Meisha, like we all really just got along. I ended it just because it honestly got too normal. I'm like, we were living together for a year. At times it would weird me out. Like they're both attractive men, like both on their shit. They both have good hearts, both real cool people. And, at first, like when it started, it wasn't on good terms. And this was, to explain it, I met this guy now it'll be around 4 or 5 years ago. And so I met him at a time where my boyfriend and I, we were going through some things. And so we were open, but this was the first person I had really told him about.
Right.
And so when he saw him, it was like a confrontation, and it was just, they had words, but the words were essentially the guy that I was with. He told my boyfriend, he said, look, I mean, honestly, you're angry and I understand that, but nothing you've told me or nothing I've admitted to has been a lie. Like you've known it because she's told you.
Right.
He said, so she's honestly way more honest than I thought she was being with you.
I would
If
have
I'm
been
being
like,
real about
I'd
it.
been like, that sounds good, but you
I'm
gotta
still
go to
mad.
sleep now. I gotta
I'm
hit
still
you.
mad, bro. Like
I gotta hit you. in the face.
And so he was just like, I'm going to give you your space or whatever. And then after that, like it really freaked me out because I had never had anything like that. I had always been low key, no drama. And that's why I said, even if I was stepping out into something like this, I was going to be honest with everybody.
Right.
And so, my boyfriend's emotions, they did, boil over or whatever. But out of respect, I, stopped talking to him because I was just like, that could have been way worse.
Yeah.
And I don't play with anybody's life like that. That's not something that I get a rise out of, anything. So I respect if you never want to talk to me again, even though you see that I was being honest with everybody. I still couldn't predict that, and I respect, you keeping your distance, and I'm totally okay with that. And so I think he did for maybe probably like a year or so. And then he reached back out and he was just like, he wanted it to end better. Like he at least wanted to speak to my boyfriend. And so they, they had a conversation.
It's crazy to think about.
I'm not talking.
I can't put myself in it because I'm like, talk to him, stab him.
You said it was understandable though. You said it was dope.
Nah, I'd want to kill him.
But
I'm too insecure.
But
I want to mess him. I'd want to do some insecure payback shit.
It's hard to be mad at her because she honest about it.
Right.
But at the same time, man.
I'm just mad because you touched my toy.
I want to know more about him though. I want to know more about him. Like how I feel like for this to be acceptable, you have to be into that and kind of into that. Another man, I feel like it's more of a fetish thing. You ever heard of cuckold? You ever heard of that?
I think the cuckold has some shame factor too.
Right.
Yeah, totally.
So because there's the other part where it's just like them getting off.
But there is a shame factor when you you leave the house knowing that there's another man living in your spot, potentially having sex with your girlfriend, baby mama. I feel like there could be a shame factor there.
It wasn't a potential thing. For one, it was like I never left him in the dark about anything. I always told him. I always communicated that with him. He always knew that. And just because he didn't have someone living in the home didn't mean that he didn't have his own situations and understandings with other people. For some reason, older women love him. Like they love him. They love to. And I guess because he got an old soul, so they love to take care of him. So he be gone, he be doing his own thing, he chilling.
But when you said you was open with him, like what do you mean? You would tell him like, yo, me and such had sex?
I would never I'd never have sex with them in the same day or anything like that. It was never like it was never.
It's hard to say anything about you. I mean, you seem like you're doing it right.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
I don't know what that means, but
I like how it sounds.
Yeah, it was never like that. And like at times, like I would go out of town and I met my dude's partners, and I remember one time the dude that lived with us, he told me we were out of town and he was like, hey, I'm gonna have some company. So he had his own situation. I was like, I just my house better be clean. I'm cool.
Everybody being respectful and safe. I mean, I don't see this.
I mean, I can't say I agree or disagree. I probably disagree a little bit, but do y'all feel like you being the way you are, like, that's your life, that's your way. Mm-hmm. Black women can't accept that's openly, they can't accept that this could be normal for people, like,
right?
Because I feel like our community, our black community, they call them hoes,
right.
For
home
sure,
wreckers.
Abuse.
But I feel like you can't, they can't see that this could be normal and everybody involved can be okay with it,
right? And I think just for like people say. People do it for a whole lot of reasons. When I met my boyfriend, like I immediately fell in love with him. Mm-hmm. Everybody knew me. I didn't give a fuck about no nigga. It was always bread. It was always this. I might have a situation, an understanding. If I had a boyfriend, everybody knew he was taking care of me. Like it was just, that's what it was. But with him, it wasn't that. It was just we were friends for a while, and we just like that was my best friend. But I also felt like we were in different places in our lives. Like in college, I got to be wild. My parents were a little bit more hippie. Like at 12, I don't remember really after that having a curfew. My dad was in the military when I was young, so he's very strict and rigid. And then after he got out of the military, he was just kind of like, not anti-government, but it was just he kind of changed. And so my parents actually had an open marriage, and I saw that. And so at times, like when they felt like they needed their space or whatever, they would have that and they would allow that, but we were still a family. If anybody was going through anything, it was still like, and my parents still have the best marriage and the strongest friendship I've ever seen. And so it's just, I think for me, I knew that I believe in karma. I believe in what you put out, you get back. So I would never want to play with anybody's emotions. I would never want, to try and mess up somebody else's household or anything like that. That was never my aim. And so even with my partner, I felt like, there's my boyfriend, and I call the other person my partner. With him, he was a little bit older. He, was attractive. He, had his own thing. But like he was very conservative too. And so that's why it was weird to me. It was like they both were very traditional. And so I felt like they would have been okay with it as long as I was okay with it. It was times where I come home, because I'm usually the one, I'm always working. Like they both had jobs, but I'm the one who's always working because I've always been more career driven.
When you call them traditional as far as in...
Like they, believe in going to work, coming home, taking care of the kids, giving the wife all all of the money. She do whatever she need to do. They gonna be at home, and that's them. So they didn't go out much. They stayed at home. So it would be times where I come home, the entire house is clean, dinner is made, and they playing the game together. And I'm just like,
man, hey, listen to me. Listen to me, man.
That's insane.
I don't know these men, right? I wouldn't call myself judgmental, but I mean I have an opinion, man. He's sound kind of cucky to me, man.
No, it don't to me because it doesn't sound so much as cuckolding. Because I did look into, I was reading into open relationships, and I was reading from this guy named Aubrey Marcus. He's a local dude.
I heard him.
Yeah, and he's an open marriage, and I was just reading through it, and I read some different
open
marriage, and they go to the swinger parties and like, you know. But the thing is like when you get past the fetish part of it, and it's just more of like how the same way people how we're cool with monogamy. You can do everything else under the sun.
I just honestly think that now we believe that love is almost synonymous with obligation or possession.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't own anybody.
Right.
And you don't own me. And it's like, if how I know my boyfriend to be, he was in church Saturday, Sunday, Wednesday, you know, and it was just like, he couldn't listen to secular music until he was out of the home, like until he was 18.
Right.
And so I saw that swing in his behavior and everything, like when I met him, like he had already been going through those phases. But at the same time, I'm like, and then I realized he was then a serial monogamist, which is what I call a person who goes from long-term relationship into long-term relationship. And so for me, I'm like, hell no, like you ain't had your whole phase. I'm like, you ain't had your whole phase.
As a man, need a whole phase.
You ain't had your whole phase.
Especially men. I think not having a whole phase is half the reason niggas shooting schools up now. Personally, that's what I think.
It is.
I think
built up.
I think you sit there in a room just frustrated at women in life because you're not getting the play.
Pretty girls only like the jocks. F those jocks.
And women, a lot of women understand, man, when your testosterone gets so out of control, you do some wild shit. You do some shit way out of your character.
But it's like they, the other sex wouldn't understand because like that drives us to do some illogical stuff.
That's why I tell y'all don't understand. Like, I mean, I'm sure y'all get horny. I'm positive y'all get horny, but
it's different for us.
Man,
we're so primal.
Boy, yeah, them things swell up, man. You don't know what to do, dog. You lost. You know,
you gonna be sending all the risky tweets and texts.
Yeah, especially if they're super religious. You can't. Ooh. I think the Bible said you can't masturbate.
They got like double. They got double. They can't touch themselves.
You can't touch yourself. So you're just like, you can't even.
They're just thinking about it. They're like, get out of my head.
Yeah, and I mean, like he grew up, and I studied at Baylor, so I had my degree in marketing business, but it's the largest Baptist university in the world. People don't know that. So it was like I, graduated and, went to LBJ. I was in the magnet program. So just a different little kid.
So you from the east side too?
Yeah. So, a different kid. And then it was like you took me out of, Austin and liberal 2007 and plucked me into dropped me in Waco in 1907. And so it was just like going to Baylor. It was very hard, just learning different things, studying different religions, and it just really taught me. I thought, I wanted to go to Baylor to get closer to God, but the way that people were at Baylor, it changed my perspective of God. And then we had to go to chapel, we had to take religion classes. And I realized in that, in religion classes, we didn't just study Christianity, we had to study other religions. Mm-hmm. And I realized in that there were really universals in all religions. Yeah. And I couldn't make out what the Bible was supposed to mean, because I'm just like, for every, scripture or rule that there is, you find where someone broke a rule and God still forgave them. Yes. So I'm like, I think that on this earth, I can't judge anybody. I mean, the best way to live in God's way or in his perspective is to just accept everybody. And so I think I had different perspectives even there at school. I remember just having a conversation with some women, and they stopped talking to me our freshman year because we're talking about marriage, and they were just like, I could never be with my man if he cheated on me, or I would leave him, and all of this. And I just randomly said, so y'all don't know that half of y'all daddies and cheated on y'all mamas, huh?
Right.
And everybody looked at me like, I'm like, y'all ain't really seen a real marriage work. But see, my parents got married really, really young. They had me young, so I almost grew up with them. So I saw, the sacrifices that my mom would make.
Right.
I saw, and my dad was a good dad, but he wasn't necessarily a good husband. Like, my dad was there for us, best daddy ever. But I mean, I saw at times where he, may have faltered as a husband. And I just said, for me, like, I got to have me. I had 8 uncles and 1 aunt. So I had a lot of men, and people tell me even now that I have a masculine energy, and I'm just like, I don't know what the hell that means, but I mean, if you can make anything in this world yours, like, why just take what somebody gonna give you? If I want to live my life this way, like, power to everybody else, is your choice. But how I'm living my life?
My truths, man. You gotta know. Your truths,
gonna bother you. But with him, I just knew that he was so sheltered and had gone into a relationship after relationship after relationship that I felt like he never got to know himself.
Right.
And I was like, I'm not going to marry you because you want to get married. And then 10 years later, you wake up and you like, this not what I want. I'm like, hell no. If anybody ever get me to marry them, like, it's till death do we part. Like, we know we in this. But I think people know I get tired of men. Like, I get tired of men. I get, and so what I knew that I needed a friendship before we had anything else. Like, if it's just a relationship and we just trying to bank off this relationship, this ain't gonna work. But if we build this friendship and we can be real with each other about what we need, and I don't want to be everything for you, that's gonna take too much of me, when I want to be everything for myself. I want to be everything for my kids, so I can't give you every experience, and chances are I've had a lot more experiences than you've had, but I also don't want to, feel like you can't have those or share those with somebody you might want to share those with.
But you said you want to get married one day, correct? Right?
Yeah, I think so.
So you understand that, I mean, every marriage has the risk of, you could love them for years, right? Mm-hmm. But it's totally normal for it to fizzle out.
Right.
So that even if you think you found that guy, right? I mean, you know what you're talking about. That there's a risk of it not working.
Exactly, and that's why I'm also not in a rush to get married. I'm like, if we do it eventually, we'll do it. But he knows me; I'm more of a business mind, so we already got our plan and how this works. He works for the city, so we got our home buying plan.
You gonna bring
and everything?
Are you gonna bring your partner into it though? Or are you gonna just let him swim off? You gonna cut him off?
Well, I did cut him off, and so he was. We lived together for a whole year.
All that time,
and then I cut him off, and it was hard because, it was hard. But I just felt like maybe it needed to happen, and I felt like it got too normal. My kids didn't necessarily know what was going on, so they just...
So it got to normal as in it didn't work, it wasn't good?
No, it was fine. The bills were being paid. Everybody had...
Don't you got 3 paychecks coming at that time?
Like, we were straight, but it was really just that everybody got cool with everything. And I just felt like my partner, who was not dating anybody seriously, I felt almost selfish because I would tell him, hey, go out and meet somebody. He would be at work or at home. And so I'm like, I felt like he didn't really have time to meet other people. And everybody who I've ever had a situation with know that I'm not going to leave my boyfriend, not unless this is something that happens internally with him and I, and not because anybody else, And so him and I, we have an understanding, we have a friendship, we have a great relationship. And so I don't see a point or a reason in leaving him. That's not something that I want to do. And so
this is complicated.
I like this though. I mean, I like what I like is the honesty, the clear communication route. I appreciate what's like the principles in it. I love that. I absolutely love that. And what I do appreciate is getting a true perspective and not one that's like tailored for a general mass consumption, but something that's just straight from the horse's mouth. You know what I'm saying?
Sounds confusing to me.
What's confusing to you about it?
What's confusing to me is so this dude you lived with for a year, right? Mm-hmm. Your other guy lived somewhere else.
No.
No man, I heard.
Right.
Y'all live together.
Yeah.
It seems like, I don't know, maybe I'm just too emotional, but I feel like that's too much masculinity in one house. Like,
but
and we got to share it. It didn't work out, because if it worked out, she wouldn't have ended it a year.
No, I think
you wouldn't have ended it, right?
No,
if it was normal, right?
I only ended it because
you want to grow or you want to do something else.
I wanted him to date other people, and I wanted him
to. You were holding him back. You felt.
Yeah,
you were holding the roommate back.
Right.
Okay.
I mean, he wasn't a roommate.
Your partner. It's so many terms. I think what you were holding back your partner because you felt like he was too invested into you. Like, he was getting feelings.
He had feelings because he had been there. Like, he had established relationships with my children. Yeah. Exactly. And him and my boyfriend, they were close, and like that was, I guess, what weirded me out because I'm like, they became cool, and I'm like, in a sense, that's what you would want, even if it's two women. Like, we all looked out for each other. Like, we all were there for each other.
That's so crazy to me though, because I feel like you let him go was right though, because I feel like no man should have to get that close with kids and basically build a family with somebody, and he's still playing basically second fiddle. Like, he's not. He's second place. I think he probably. I feel like it was good for your situation and maybe your baby daddy situation, but for him, I feel like he's gonna be damaged. He might not be damaged now.
I don't think he damaged, and that's what
he might not say damaged because niggas not good at expressing himself, but he got to be fucked. I think if I built a bond with some kids, right, and I'm putting a lot of energy into them, I'm seeing them every day. We live together. I'm raising them basically when the other nigga not there. Then all of a sudden, you're not feeling it no more. Niggas won't tell you, but that'll fuck you up. Like, that'll fuck you up for a while.
And I mean, it's crazy because I just saw him. We just ran into him maybe last week or so, and we just happened to be passing each other. And I hadn't talked to him since he left, and so he had missed both of my daughter's birthdays.
Yo,
and
damn.
So and
you got a mask,
y'all. When I tell y'all, it's so damn crazy. We're at one of my daughter's birthday, and my mom asked where he is. Like, my boyfriend is standing right crazy. Here, and my mom was like, "Wait, where is he?" And like, she looks at me and she's like, "Where he at?" And like, everybody knew, like, my whole family knew, like,
I cut him loose.
And I'm just like, and so when we all ran into each other, we happened to be right behind him, and he like pulled over, and we pulled over in a gas station, and one of my daughters was asleep, but my youngest daughter was the one he was really close with.
Bro, that was crazy. That is so heartbreaking. Like, what the fuck? That is heartbreaking. This is not okay. This is not okay, but it's okay if everybody involved is okay with it. But in emotional, mental state, that is not okay, bro. That is. And I'm not saying you're wrong for doing it. He's wrong for letting it go on. First off, he should have not sat there and did all that. You nigga, not nigga, homeboy. You don't want to. Don't treat those kids like they're yours. Especially if you're awake enough to know that this ain't gonna last forever.
And at the same time, he didn't. He really didn't treat them like they were his. Mm-hmm. But they looked at him more honestly as like an uncle figure. I don't have a lot of family here, and he didn't either. And so you say that it could have been wrong to him, but he was literally the only person down here as far as where he's from. His family was all the way on the East Coast, and so like we were there for each other. Like I worked in HR, so at times I had gotten him multiple jobs, gotten him pay raises, and was able to make connections for him and to get him in different spots. Yes. So it was like when we were together, like he changed like different tax brackets. He, improved his car. Like everybody ate.
You basically built him up. Okay.
Yeah, and I mean, like we were all kind of there for each other, and so I felt like, that was cool. And he had got to a point to where he was really on his feet. And I'm just like, cool, but at the same time, why, like, people are interested in you and you can't tell me why you're not acting on that.
So can you understand then why people say you have a masculine, like a vibe to you though? Because, I mean, honestly, just traditionally, like through history, that's how you're thinking is just how men think, right?
I know.
Or at least that's our perfect dream.
No. It's not our dream. That's just
I meant more like at the stage of us thinking like how we want multiple women.
You think you want it like that? Right, until like I'm hearing it now, right? Mm-hmm. And like I said, I've never wanted that. Like I never want to do no wild shit like that. But it's your truth, man.
I have a perfect, I know what you mean.
That's why people tell you have a masculine like feel to you, because traditionally, like I said, women, you don't see women doing that.
And I mean, honestly, I can say that I've been in it in both situations. Mm-hmm. In college, I did date a couple. And so it was a couple, so where we all lived together, and I was like the outside woman. So, I mean.
But you were cool with it though.
Yeah, but I mean, he was cool with it too. So what's the difference?
you think he cool with it, man. I don't know. I think I feel like if you go to like a psychiatrist or something, he might burst down in tears.
You think so?
I think so.
Oh my God.
I don't know. Though.
Well,
I don't know.
I mean,
I don't know. I feel like
really,
you got real close with some kids. You might not think you did, man. And you was second fiddle for a while. You lived this girl for a year. You ever said an L word? Tell you love each other?
So I mean, how was he?
You avoid.
I feel like
did y'all say y'all love each other ever?
Yeah, we had love for each other.
No, did you say I love you to him?
No, I never told him that I
told
loved
you that.
Oh, that's good.
He might have
said
he may have. He
Damn,
may.
If she don't got the male vibe, man, and like I said, that's okay though.
Well, no.
Nowadays,
Honestly,
I think women are evolving to where I think it's kind of like a two could play a game. I don't know if it's for the best.
Honestly, I don't think he was playing second fiddle only because I think if you know your lane, you know your lane. If you're not trying to be, you can't be, different people are different people to other people.
That's exactly
and so
what I was going
we had a whole different understanding. Like we built a friendship where I kind of helped him out when nobody was there for him. So our understanding wasn't the same as what I had with my boyfriend. And we all respected that, and that was just kind of what it was. So
I feel you.
I'm
just trying to look at both sides.
Yeah,
no,
I really think, like I said, I like hearing the inside scoop of it. And it, to me, after what I've read,
would you do that?
Huh?
Would you do that?
Would that fit in? If
let me ask you, would you let Tara have another guy live there?
No.
Okay,
because that's not my lane.
Okay. So you don't really feel it. You just like hearing.
I'm saying, like, if that was my lane, if I was into that, I can. I
mean, yeah. If I was into it, I would understand too. So you don't.
No, I don't. No, I don't. I couldn't do it. Mm-hmm. I couldn't do it because that's not what I would want. But I'm saying, like, I can totally understand for someone making having an understanding of what they want. From it.
If everybody happy. I'm just trying to look through that dude's eyes, and I'm just saying, man.
I was gonna say earlier, like with him, he probably damaged because it was something that he wasn't ready for. So it's more like, but that's all. But he tackled the bull
honestly, and it wasn't really
tackled by the bull. He got cut.
No,
he's free now.
I'm saying he jumped in the ring, though.
But at the same time, we had never tried anything like that. So what we said is, like, when he moved in, we said we would give it a year. Yeah. And so it was that year in May. But the only thing was when I started talking, to my boyfriend, I'm just like, hey, it's about to be May. Like, how are you feeling about it? Because I felt like I kept asking them, were they okay with it? Yeah. Because they would communicate with me. But I just felt like, as it started getting so normalized, I'm like, are y'all okay with it? And everybody was okay. So I felt like if I didn't make that step, it wouldn't have been made because we were all chilling. We were all making plans together. And I'm just like...
and you know how I know he's fucked up too. You said he wasn't trying to meet nobody else. He wasn't venturing out. I think he had some kind of loyalty to you. He probably felt like he was going to be stepping out on you if he did some shit.
Yeah. And I mean, no, like he had his own situation.
Misha, save the guy,
Misha,
right now,
he would go, he would go for like a few days or whatever, and
be like, well, I love my girl at home.
And then there was a. You know what? But no, there was a situation once. Like there was a situation where he got in trouble, and he got arrested. And it was not his fault. Like he literally had nothing to do with the situation. He got arrested. They released him and everything because they couldn't hold him on anything. Like it was really just kind of like discriminatory. But I remember calling this girl that I knew he was dealing with, and I was like, he in jail, and they say it's like $600. So what you gonna pay, and I'll make up the difference.
Wow.
And she was like, she came down, and like we went together. And I remember they called and they was like, well, they let him out because they had no reason to hold him or anything. So it was kind of messed up because I don't know what he had told her our relationship was. Right. Because I don't know if he told her what it was. And so then when that happened, it was just kind of like, I think, I had always kind of, because we would see each other often. She would come down and like she'd had dinner with us or whatever. But I don't think he had ever told her what I can't even. I think what he tell her that I wasn't his sister.
And he was lying. That's what I was gonna. Nigga lying. Nigga's a liar.
I don't know what
he just. Liar.
No, I just
now
knew
you're by himself.
He just called my daughter his niece. My daughter's his nieces. So she didn't really know what the relationship was, and it wasn't for me to clarify. clarify it. But when he got in trouble, I'm like, look, girl,
Look, let me tell you about the love triangle we got. Let me tell you about the triangle. Let me break it down to you just so you understand. All right, let me ask y'all. Let's turn things.
Actually, wait, before that, Meisha, how long when you got exposed to your best friend's like openness to an open relationship, what was your immediate reaction? What's your background on that? That's all I want.
Honestly, my boyfriend wanted to have a threesome with Meisha, so that's kind of how we ended up being cool. And Meisha told us no.
Wait, so two questions.
Thank you, Meisha.
No, we did not do it.
Meisha, the only
definitely
one.
two questions.
I told you, it's my moral compass.
Did it happen? And then,
No,
like,
it
what happened
did not.
after that?
It was actually my ex best friend had hit me up and let me know, and I was like, no, I'm not into that, but I hope you find her.
Right.
And we just kind of like start kicking it then. I never judged her and that wasn't my place.
Yeah, I don't judge.
But I let them know, like, I'm not there yet with all that.
Right.
But
so more so, do you understand where we're coming from as far as like the curiosity side of like, or because like we don't do that. So like for someone like you to have a friend that's doing it, how does that work as far as like the education and the exposure? Like what?
I was really shocked,
Right.
surprised that it was acceptable with them, but then it was just
It wasn't
like
acceptable with the second guy. He's acting.
I mean,
I'm playing.
It worked out for them. Like, whatever works out for you works out for them. And so for me seeing her and how everything was good, how could I not be happy or, And so nobody was left out, but I think realistically, like, that couldn't be 10 years down the line.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? And
Or
so,
2 years down the line.
But yeah, it's different, but I'm not judging. We can't judge.
No, not
you know
even
what I'm
not
saying?
even the judge.
Oh yeah, man.
But
If I seen a dude and he's smiling, I mean, I really don't care. I gave my opinion, but if he's happy, I'm just thinking deeper about it.
Yeah,
I think
my whole thing
up.
is just more of just like I said, the experience and just trying to get your take on it. Because like for my take, I'm like, whoa, that's wild, cool. But like for you, you're actually like next to her getting those texts like, girl, he tripping, or like this is going great. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I wanted to like get your opinion because you're right there on the outside looking in of the outside. You know what I mean?
Do y'all?
Like I'm saying that her opinion is
I hear
pretty
you.
important. Yeah, and I just wanted to hear what your take on it.
And that's why I wanted to bring her, just because like Meisha would be there. I mean, I very rarely ever had an issue with my partner.
Right.
It was really me and my boyfriend. Like, and it wouldn't be nothing crazy. Well, I mean,
it sounded like she said boyfriends, and I was like, that wouldn't be too far.
Have you ever come home and y'all having sex?
No,
I was
never.
No,
that's never happened.
I think that's only important, man.
Yeah, sex, like the whole sex, like
what do you mean?
Like oral,
sex,
all that.
No.
That's twice.
You make me feel like a guy now because it's like after a while I just kind of stopped giving head, but like I mean to him, but I mean it just kind of was.
She got the vibe. All right, that's all I want to know. I knew you had the vibe. When he first started the story, like she got the vibe. She said she don't, but she got the vibe.
I would have been sad. No,
but that's why it was still weird. It wasn't weird, but like people would think that we had sex all the time. Like me and my partner, we lived together for a year, and in that year, we probably had sex maybe 3 times ever. And then in the 4 years that him and I had like known each other and had whatever our understanding was, we maybe had sex no more than like 8 or 9 times, like literally. So it was, even though we were there and he lived with, it wasn't like a frequent thing. It wasn't that.
Why is that stereotype like that? People who do like deviations of the norm, like that they're having sex all the time.
Exactly.
That's a big thing. Like,
because I'm not really a sexual person like that. So then for people, when they hear that I had lived with 2 men, it was like, you think I got them on the clock? Like I got 4-hour shifts? Like, they like we running a whole house or something?
Exactly.
No, it
goes straight to that.
And it wasn't that at all. Like I just think that we had different understandings. We had different vibes, and like
actually, it's not so crazy.
I think
it's not so crazy.
Black women are evolving now. Yeah, church tells us that.
Church tells us that anything you do outside of this,
black women are evolving, man. Do y'all feel like it's a good time to be a black woman? Like, is this the best time in history to be a black woman? I think so. I think
I mean, of course. How I feel like it would be a disservice to all the women who paved the way before to say that this isn't the best time. This is the best time. This is as good as it's gotten as of 2018.
A lot of people don't see that.
So I'm thankful for all of the women that have done that, because I don't think I would feel comfortable to even speak out in the ways that I'm speaking out, and now. So I definitely appreciate women for laying their lives on the line for their different perspectives and stuff, because people really come at me because of how I'm living. Like, I'm not trying to take your man. Like, women, my boyfriend, he works in construction, but he also does recording and audio engineering. And so he works with different artists. And one woman, particularly this probably gonna start some shit, but an artist, his wife, him and I went to school together, and his wife wanted to reach out to me to do a podcast. I've done content creation. I've gotten paid to create podcasts and create, outlines and things like that, and pitches and treatments and stuff like that. So she wanted to possibly get started, and she was interested in doing it with me, because he told her I was going to start one. But I'm like, you don't know how I am about certain things. And I'm like, I wanted to start one that was going to be reflective of the Black community, and also just to pose, conversations that are different perspectives of the Black community. Right. And so I was thinking about having possibly someone of the LGBTQIA, one male or female.
QIA,
or not.
Is that
I was
new?
gonna say, that's new for me. I stopped at LGBT. I stopped at T.
Yo, what's the new one they trying to have that the guys that the dudes that like little boys? What's that one? They trying to add that one.
You talking about the pedos?
Yeah.
But they call something else. Mambla, man. They like.
I don't even know. But
that's gonna be part of the. That's gonna be part of the thing, though.
But I just wanted.
I know.
They're trying to. I don't think it should be, but I feel like that's a whole other conversation. But I feel like I wanted someone reflective of that perspective, and so. When she wanted to talk to me about it, I was like, hey, let's meet up to talk about it. But she wanted to talk about it over text. And I work a lot. And so I was very direct. But I told her I wanted to talk about, possibly my open relationship and, how that's been. Now, my boyfriend and I aren't as open as we used to be. I guess maybe we just old now and we be working all the time. So we don't even be engaging in anything like that too much anymore. But she immediately stopped talking to me, and then
she said she was his wife.
Yeah, and then she told the artist to reach out to my boyfriend and tell him that he couldn't come after 10:30 anymore because recording late, because she didn't feel comfortable about him and I our open relationship.
But he's married.
Yeah. And
did we already know that?
No. So I'm saying this is someone else. I'm saying that
it's a different person.
Yeah,
okay,
so
situation.
I'm about to say, do I need to write this down?
No, my boyfriend works with artists, and an artist's wife was interested in working with me in podcasting.
Artist's
and then
wife.
When we talked about different things that I wanted to discuss, she got uncomfortable and then told her husband, that he could no longer come over after a certain time.
And she's looking at her like, you open.
Right, sense, but knowing me, I'm the type of person, like I said, I get defensive and I will say some sarcastic ass shit, but I was like, people fuck all times of the day, right? If I want to fuck your husband, it doesn't have to be after 10:30 at night.
It's a higher chance after 10:30.
I'm just saying though,
I got you. Yeah,
the percentage goes up a fucking after 10:30.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I know exactly what you mean.
Right, but I'm just like, come on, let's call it what it is, And so I ended up, addressing her with it. But I'm like, my life it doesn't affect you at all. Just because I think this doesn't mean that I would ever want to be with your husband, doesn't mean that I have anything against your marriage. I noticed some of my friends, they were totally cool with this. Some of my friends would start calling me and asking me about different stuff, asking me about, how to initiate trying different things with their partners, whatever. But then I had
why she felt that way, right?
No.
Can you?
Huh?
No.
You can't.
Wait.
So
Wait.
I'm saying you can understand why she felt like she needed to protect her husband, right?
No, because I feel like
she don't know. Does she know you? She just knows about you. She knows,
I was gonna say,
the situation.
Like what we were saying earlier, how some people were brought up to think this way of these actions. So of course she's probably probed.
If my wife told me I'm finna go hang out with a dude late night that I knew was he was out there and he was smashing a lot, I'd be like,
well, not even smashing a lot, but in an open relationship.
But
I'd probably be like, how about I go with you?
Yeah,
let me just ride. I could look in, or she just trying to protect the nest.
But I just feel like if I'm over here and I'm raising chickens and you raising cucumbers, you're growing cucumbers. Why do I care about your crops?
Right.
Like, why do I care about what you growing over here if that's not what I need to survive? I feel like that's an insecurity in your own relationship that you need.
What if you want to try cucumbers all of a sudden?
No, and I'll tell you how. Like, it went so far. So I told her, let's meet up and talk about it. So she came, and I was gonna, I told her, I said, look, I said, him and I, we had this. When we say open, it doesn't mean that we have sex with everybody we meet. It doesn't mean that. It means we're open to the conversation of what we need at the time. There's nothing ever off of the table if you feel as a partner that this needs to be something that needs to be discussed. So I'm like, this is always what him and I have. It has nothing to do with you. And she looked me dead in my eye and said, well, he's about to go back to school. And, this isn't the first time he's had an incident. And I just felt like he didn't mention me. I said, I represent artists and that, like, I work with all types of artists. If you not about to sing on a damn song, why I'm worried about you? Why would you care? I have a problem with my boyfriend when he meets other women and then they start asking about me too much. Because whatever your situation is with him, that's what it is. When you start caring about me, you're trying to fill a void that you feel like I have. You're trying to fill a lack.
She's insecure, yeah.
Right. And so she really told me, she said, I read the text messages and I was about to go empty my daughter's piggy bank and put the coins in a sock and beat him the fuck out of his sleep. Me and my boyfriend looked at each other like, what the fuck?
I mean, that's his fault though. He caused it.
But I asked her, I said in the text messages, I said, did I ever contact him outside of a appropriate time? No. Did I ever talk to him about anything other than connecting with my boyfriend? No. Did I ever reach out to him about anything other than that? No. Was there anything that I said, do you think like was inappropriate or offended you or anything? No. So I'm like, well, what was your issue? Your issue was that I was simply a woman and that, but women are in the industry all the time. I have nothing to do with that. But then you wanted to meet me personally and have a conversation via text with a person you've never known. And we've already scheduled a time to meet up and I can be, who I am and I can talk to you about that. But I'm at work and I'm getting paid to do what I do, so I'm not about to take out time to talk to you when we've already set a time. But you made all these assumptions when we could have had this conversation, but I'm like, that's sometimes with women,
it's
like
that she don't trust you, right? I don't think it's that she don't trust you. She don't trust her dude, but she's putting it on you. But she don't trust her dude. I don't think. I feel like you shouldn't get so offended because it's really not your fault. He's done things to make her extremely insecure.
Right.
She don't trust him at probably around anybody.
But that's what I'm saying. That's usually what what I find most people have an issue with me in the way that in our lifestyle. It's because they have their own insecurities.
Yeah, fact.
Just because you could or could not have that situation, you may not even want the same situation.
Everybody
and
different.
Exactly. But it's like how I think should not. If you're strong and confident in your thoughts and you really feel solid in what you're thinking and can defend that, what anybody else say can't shatter how I live my life. And I only ended it because I'm like, my daughters are getting older and this is a decision that I chose to make. So I don't want them to think that this is the only way of life that they have, because a lot of other relationships, I'm the only one that's probably still been with my man, like that they've been around closely and has a strong, healthy relationship and has a strong bond. So I don't want them to think that that it's normal for them to have multiple partners if that's not something that they come around to.
Ooh, now, you worry about that?
Now, if we have, because I feel like I don't want to establish normal or anything for them. I want them to figure out who they are in themselves. And so, yes, 2.
I got 3.
Oh, really? Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you.
But yeah, so it's like as a woman, like I'm really careful about that. And and I'm careful about what people have to say about that, because with the men that I was with, they were very, very loving, always there for my girls, like always, like all they knew was love. But I couldn't shelter them from the outside world. Like as they got older, that would, and it was at the point to where at school, like one of them are picking them up from school. So, people recognize them. And I remember one would think the other, because they're both tall, they have dreads, they're dark skinned.
Hey, they're both white, they look the same.
Yeah, exactly. So one of the kids would be like, "Hey, that's your dad," and she's like, "No, that's this person."
Disrespecting him, man. Not I'm like, no, I'm the dad today. So this nigga get off construction. Man. I'm pops, nigga. I'm not her uncle. I'm not her cousin. I am her stepdad. I am her stepfather. Do not address me as anything else. I am her stepfather. Thank you. Get in the car. Look, I would have snapped every time. Snap it, dog. That's just me though.
Snap.
I think it's dope. You found a balance in that you ended it. I think all that's dope because that was grown up. That was grown up.
Yeah, and I mean we're all still cool. It was cool to see when we all ran into each other, but it was really I don't know if I was in my I may have been in my feels a little bit because these niggas was happier to see each other. I was like,
never. I would see the nigga live with my girl. Like, every time we probably fight every time. Like you know what time it is, right? Like yeah, let's go, let's get it over.
No, and it was so crazy because I remember telling my boss about it only because like one of them like they may come to bring me lunch or something, and like my boss started noticing, and I was just like, no, they know about each other, and she didn't believe it. And so one day they happened to both show up at the same time, and she was looking out the windows, and she was like, oh my god, she was like, oh my god, they are here together, and they are outside, they are right outside the door,
bro,
and then I
looked,
you up there. And so we opened the door, and like they walked up.
I'm gonna get her a shot.
Hey, I'm gonna go to In-N-Out, and I'm gonna go get her a salad.
What you want? You go to Taco Bell? Well, I'm close to Taco Bell. I'm gonna go there. You go to McDonald's.
Y'all are
my nigga. Make sure there's no lettuce on the chicken sandwich. My nigga, you don't think I know how she like her sandwich? Like, yeah.
What you saying, bro? You saying I ain't been here?
I'm with her most of the time. Me and the girls. Hold on, those are my girls.
Technically,
well, no,
I have more.
You're not around. When you're not around, nigga. Those are my girls.
Fuck
well,
y'all.
Nigga, how about this? How about this, nigga? When I get home, I'ma hit. You gonna be at work. Well, how you gonna hit if I miss work? Well, nigga.
Yeah. And
these are the conversations I have myself.
No, I promise you, and I promise you are every dude. Like, but and it's okay. But then they meet my dude, and they're like, I think because you automatically think, you try and figure it out, and then honestly, people meet my dude, and it's been guys that have been interested in me, and like we'll all be kicking it, and I invite them over. They'll meet my dude. They will never. It'll never be anything because they have too much respect for my dude at that point. Like they really do. Like they end up getting cool with him, and they cut me off. I'm the outsider. It's like so. I think when people
that dude a lion.
In my head, niggas are weird. They're probably normal. I'm probably weird. I don't know, but to me, that's so weird.
Nobody normal.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I feel like I'm normal, but I'm probably not. I'm probably weird as fuck.
Honestly,
I think I'm weird as fuck. Never mind.
Yeah, I was gonna say you weird.
But people will like. I promise you, people will make they'll think a certain way about him or whatever, and then they see him and then they meet him and they're just like they could never.
I probably bust out laughing because it's still above me and beyond me. I just be like, wow, that's wild. You really doing this, huh? I gotta hear about it, bro.
Yeah, and I mean, we really are like best friends, and it was like. Oddly, like, and I'll give you another example because I know y'all probably think, "Damn, she over here and she winning." It ain't just like that.
I think it's a dub.
Like
it's a dub if you get it right.
Meisha was gonna go to Jamaica, and we were all gonna go, and I couldn't go because I had a major event. Mm-hmm. So I was like, "Oh, he can go. My boyfriend can go. Y'all go. I'm not tripping or whatever." And I remember he asked me. He was just like, "So me and Meisha would never do anything like that." But you really cool with me just going with Meisha? I'm like, yeah. I mean, what's the like? It's not like no, my boyfriend.
Okay.
Yeah, so my boyfriend. But we ended up we're gonna all end up going together. But I remember when he was gonna go by himself, he was like, so I'm not gonna fuck with Meisha, but I'm just letting you know, like, I already had a bucket list for Jamaica, so if you're not gonna be there, I'm just gonna I'm like, it's cool, love. Like, I'm cool with that.
I can't imagine.
I mean, the other guy's here. I'm fine.
I can't imagine sitting
the other guy's right here.
And I would never.
By the way,
I'm
in Korea. I got a bucket list, so I'm gonna dip out.
If A told me, yo, I'm gonna be somewhere, I mean, you're not going, so I'm gonna just go crazy. I'm like, bet. So we're done, right? We finished.
Look,
bet.
time of death.
So when you get back, I'll be gone. I'll be gone when you get back. Not playing. That's just in my head. No, it's funny.
No, he was just like we're really
open.
just best friends, and I'm like, I always want that first. But I'm like, when he said it, he was just like, like I ain't never been with a Jamaican girl. You see how they whine? It's like
I never been with
a
fucking alien nigga.
But
that nigga funny. That shit is. I'm sorry. Some of that shit, I'm just like, you just being a nigga. Stop.
I think it's dope. The communication side of it. I think it's dope. Y'all don't hold shit in. That's dope. I feel like
right. Yeah, definitely for sure.
Like I said, we are best friends. feelings first, and I just want him to always feel like he can tell me what he needs, because I can't always read your mind. And I think as women, we are expected to, and as women, we want to drop hints.
Same
and
as
I
men,
think
same as men, yeah. Men
you're right. And I think we can't be free. And I think also as men, y'all aren't allowed to express a range of emotions. Like, I think it's like men aren't, and that's why I'm like, people try and make, like, my boyfriend is not in any way weak. I've honestly never met a man like as strong as him at our age to handle the shit that he handles, to understand things in a way deeper level. Like, I'm like, I respect that more. He's very patient. He's like slow to anger. He's not like a lot of men like to be my age that I meet now. And so I respect that in him. And he's also taught me that, that love looks differently and people express things differently. And I've really it's hard to crack him sometimes. And so because of that, I'm like, I need you to communicate. And I feel that, men, if you can't be angry or you can't be hard all the time, what else do y'all really have to express? And that's not okay. And then you wonder what happens in like domestic violence and stuff. And it was really my boyfriend who would just be like, I can't be with a woman who feels like I got to handle her. You are not no damn animal, and I'm not no zookeeper. If I gotta throw you up against the wall for you to feel like I'm mad about some shit, then we don't need to be together. I need to be able to tell you, like, that shit ain't cool. Like, that shit pissed me off. Right. And he's like that. And so it took a while for him to get there. But I'm just like, yeah, I'd rather you be able to communicate with me. And so, like I said, even if we do get married, I don't think we will be open in our marriage. Will I want the occasional threesome? Absolutely. Just because I like spice in a relationship. Like, I don't want things to be the same way. And that was why I didn't want to get married, because I said I don't want to have sex with the same men the same way every time, every day after work. If I know I'm going to be hidden, like if I'm trying to make money and I'm trying to bring home money for the family, that becomes routine. That is something that is predictable every day, because I got to perfect that structure and perfect, those processes and things like that. Right. So if I come home, I want a little bit of spice in my life. So if I'm taking a trip,
a little bit,
yeah, a little bit.
That's a whole bunch.
A little bit. That's what I'm saying. Eventually,
a whole bunch of Cajun. What you got? What's spicy? Black pepper.
But no, honestly, like I said, like now that we're just old now, it's really kind of fizzled out. It's really more of like it's like a me and him thing. Like if we go on a trip, we might want to live a little. We just be honest with each other, but it ain't.
Hey, I'm gonna go fuck somebody else. Hey, babe, I know we eating pasta in Italy, but I'm gonna go smash. You stay here. I'll be back.
That's like
it's never right. like that. But I'm saying
finish your breadsticks. I'll be back. I'm playing. Got it though. I mean, shit. To each his own. To each his own. That light means that's a new light we got here. Mm-hmm. We never had that orb. Light. Yeah, the orb. The orb tells us we got 5. Well, I'm sure we had 5 minutes. It's probably past 5.
They not out there dead?
No, they're fine. I really enjoyed this conversation. Even though
thank you.
We just our first interaction. This is dope.
I appreciate it. I appreciate y'all being open. I was really, really nervous. I really was.
You?
Yeah.
I said, what am I? I don't know her.
We just try not to offend people because
I don't try not to offend anybody.
People
get offended off everything. You just gotta say what you're gonna say.
I mean, he wasn't really trying not to offend me. And I mean, I don't take it personally. And I feel like once you're ready to talk about something, you have to be ready to take whatever type of criticism. Sure. And that's why it's taken me a while to be able to talk about it. But I'm like, I think people can explore different things in their relationships and don't just talk about it in hypothetical. So I can tell you I did the leg work.
Leg work.
Literally. Shit.
Pun intended. Fuck y'all.
Yeah.
Rotating partners.
I don't know nothing. Y'all got anything on the plug for y'all get off?
No. Like I said, I don't need nobody to even know who I am at this point. So
that's how I am. Niggas like, nigga, am I getting paid to come on there? You know, nigga ask that.
Stupid ass. What?
Yeah,
hey, you gonna pay me to come on your podcast?
Bro, who are you niggas?
Oh, dumbass. Hey,
relax, man. Relax.
No, because you know what I hate is like some people really be trying. Like everyone's so into finessing and so thirsty for attention. They'll be like, oh, I deserve this, or like, nah, he ain't even put in legwork.
I just want people to know when y'all do or if y'all do listen to this, you don't really got it. Anybody can come on. Just
we've been saying that since what?
Yeah. None of y'all, nobody's a celebrity, really, man. I don't want to ask y'all.
Not at all.
I'll ask people I think are interesting, but you can definitely ask me. I'm not.
Well,
really,
I appreciate y'all allowing me to come.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Thank y'all for being fair sports.
Yeah, thank everybody for listening.
Meisha's being a good PA or what is it, PR assistant. She had the phone going like she's in a meeting right now. She's on a podcast.
She's busy.
Don't say this.
She's
Y'all
busy.
are assholes though.
No, she did it cool because you weren't annoying. You know the annoying friend that's just over there like, hi, I'm such and such. At least you talked.
She was actually listening. I was
gonna say like you were actually, you were engaged still. And there, I haven't seen it, but there's sometimes where people have that friend that's not engaged, and then they have that awkward.
She want to be there.
Oh, that would be my sworn enemy, Shay.
Is Shay her friend?
Shout out
though?
Shay.
Is Shay her friend?
Shay's our friend.
You know, girls like that's my sworn enemy. It got to mean that y'all have a common. Yeah, one of y'all's a friend of a
Women's
enemy.
friendships they all hate each other in the end, bro.
But niggas hate each other too. We just don't say it up front. We'll say it behind the nigga back. That's how some.
No.
Some.
So yeah. All right. Thank y'all. This next episode.
Yeah, ran out of words, mixing these birds from the suburbs. Yeah, my cousins are killers, McGill a gorilla, I'm killing these birds. Murder. Riding the wave, girl, is you nave, niggas gon' love you. They don't. Smashing pads, baby, you easy, niggas won't cuff you. Nah. Hey, remember, health is wealth. Follow your boy on Snap, Pierre No French Show, Instagram, Pierre No French. Mixtape for my friends dropping soon. Yeah, that's a wrap.